In June 2022, a developer at the crypto exchange FTX fixed a small accounting bug. For months, an internal account had been overstating a debt. It said the boss's trading firm owed the exchange $16 billion. He patched the bug, ran the numbers again, and got the true figure, $8 billion. $8 billion of customer money. Gone. 5 months before anyone else on Earth knew, the hole was already sitting right there in the database. He asked his boss if things were okay. According to his sworn testimony, the answer was, "We were bulletproof last year. We're not bulletproof this year." That boss was Sam Bankman-Fried. A jury convicted him on every count, and the Justice Department has called what he built one of the biggest financial frauds in American history. You probably know how that part ends. Here's what almost nobody actually knows: how the money moved. Because there was no hack here, no stolen keys. This vault emptied itself through a shell company with a website like an electronics shop and one flag somebody typed into the code. That's what this channel does. One real financial crime every episode, and I follow the stolen money until it dead ends. And this trail dead ends somewhere no stolen money has ever taken me before. Let's follow the money. First, what FTX was, because the size is the point. Founded in 2019, and 3 years later, it's one of the largest crypto exchanges on the planet. A $32 billion valuation, Super Bowl ads, an NBA arena with its name on the roof. And its founder, Sam Bankman-Fried, SBF, was the face of responsible crypto, the guy in shorts who testified to Congress and told them the industry needed more regulation. FTX made one promise louder than any other: your deposits are yours, held in custody, walled off from company money, never touched. The Department of Justice later put it flatly. He repeatedly told customers, investors, and the public that deposits were kept safe, and those statements were false. Because standing right next to FTX was a second company most customers never thought about for a second: Alameda Research, a crypto trading firm, also founded, also controlled by Bankman-Fried. On paper, Alameda was just another customer on the exchange. In reality, it had 2 private doors into the vault. Remember the cold open, a shell company, and a flag in the code? Those are the doors. This case has 2 rails. Follow both. Rail 1 was almost embarrassingly analog. For years, FTX had trouble getting its own bank accounts for customer dollars. So when customers wired money in, many were instructed to send it to a company called North Dimension, which looked like nothing, had a website like a little electronics shop, and was, in fact, a subsidiary of Alameda. The SEC alleged the name was chosen precisely so nobody would connect it to Alameda. So follow your own wire for a second. You send your savings to your exchange account, the way you'd wire money to a bank. It lands in the trading firm's bank account instead, and the trading firm spends it. Inside FTX's database, all those dollars were tracked in one internal account called fiat@ftx.com. Customers saw balances on their screens. The actual cash was somewhere else. By mid-2022, that internal tab said Alameda owed FTX's customers roughly $8 billion. That's the hole from the cold open. The screens said one thing. The database knew the truth. Rail 2 was one line of configuration. In 2019, at Bankman-Fried's direction, this is from the sworn testimony of his co-founder Gary Wang, FTX's engineers added a flag to the code called allow negative. Turn it on for an account, and that account can withdraw money it doesn't have. Real money. Other customers' money. It was turned on for exactly one account on the entire exchange: Alameda's. Every other trader on FTX had a risk engine watching them. Run out of collateral, and the system liquidates you automatically. No mercy, no phone call. Alameda was exempt, and its credit limit kept climbing. A few million, then $1 billion, and finally, Wang testified, he set it to a number they'd never hit: around $65 billion. And while that switch sat live in the code, Bankman-Fried was out in public, insisting Alameda's account played by the same rules as everyone else's. So where did the borrowed billions go? Not into a vault. Into venture bets, loan repayments, real estate, political influence. I'll trace every stream in a minute. But here's the actual engine of this scheme, and it's older than crypto, older than banks, probably older than money. As long as customers didn't all ask for their cash at once, nobody would ever check whether it was still there. What snapped it was a spreadsheet and a reporter. FTX had printed its own token called FTT. Think of it as the house's own casino chips, and Alameda's books were stuffed with them. On November 2nd, 2022, a financial journalist named Ian Allison published a leaked Alameda balance sheet, $14.6 billion of assets, and the single biggest line was $3.66 billion of FTT. The firm backstopping the exchange was collateralized by chips the exchange had conjured out of nothing. One reporter, one spreadsheet. Hold that thought. You're about to watch it detonate. 4 days later, the CEO of rival exchange Binance tweeted that, due to recent revelations, Binance would sell its FTT, over $500 million worth. Alameda's CEO answered in public. She'd buy it all, at $22 a token. The market read that exactly the way you just did, as fear. The run began, and a run was the one thing this structure could not survive. Because the money wasn't there. It hadn't been there for years. Now, the trail. Fair warning, this trail broke my usual playbook. Half of this theft never touched a blockchain. It moved through bank wires and a database column. The receipts here aren't just block explorers, they're court exhibits, read into the record under oath. Same discipline, different ledger. Start with the customers, 2 streams in. Here's the first, dollars. From 2019 onward, customer wire deposits, billions of them, routed into North Dimension and other bank accounts controlled by Alameda. Customers thought they were funding their exchange balance. On FTX's own internal ledger, the running tab for this money, that fiat at account, eventually read minus $8 billion. And from those bank accounts, the dollars simply became Alameda's working capital. Look at how little this hop cost them. No hack, no exploit, a wire transfer and a naming trick. Second stream, crypto. Customers deposited coins onto the exchange itself, under a terms of service promise that digital assets belonged to the customer. Full stop. And here's the backdoor. Through the allow negative flag and that $65 billion credit line, Alameda drew effectively unlimited funds straight off the exchange. Caroline Ellison, Alameda's CEO, testified the firm's tab peaked around $14 billion by the fall of 2022. And she told the jury who was behind it. Quote, "He directed me to commit these crimes." So Alameda is now sitting on a mountain of other people's money. Watch where it goes. 6 streams out. Stream 1, debts. In June 2022, crypto markets crashed, and Alameda's own lenders recalled their loans. Ellison testified she repaid them with FTX customer money, at Bankman-Fried's direction. The lenders who stayed exposed ultimately lost more than $1.3 billion. And mark this moment, because this is where the fraud became unsurvivable. The borrowed money was gone, and the only liquid thing left in the building was the customer's deposits. Stream 2, buying out the biggest early shareholder. Back in July 2021, FTX repurchased Binance's early stake in the company, a deal worth roughly $2.1 billion. Ellison testified that more than $1 billion of it was customer funds, because Alameda didn't have the money. The bankruptcy estate is now suing to claw that deal back, And that suit is a claim, not a finding. It's contested. Stream 3, venture bets. $1.15 billion into a Bitcoin mining company. $700 million into a venture fund with ties to celebrities and SpaceX. And $500 million into a then tiny AI startup called Anthropic. These companies received investments. That's it. The wrongdoing sits with the people who sent the money. The man a jury convicted and the executives who pleaded guilty. And per the estate and the trial record, the money behind those wires was, in large part, customer deposits. Hold the Anthropic one in your head. It comes back at the end of this video, and it is the strangest twist in this whole case. Stream 4, the insiders themselves. FTX's new management documented $3.2 billion in payments and personal quote-unquote loans to founders and executives. $2.2 billion of it to Bankman-Fried personally. $546 million of that borrowed money bought a 7.6% stake in Robinhood. Remember that one too. Stream 5, Paradise. Roughly $250 million of Bahamas real estate, about 35 properties, including a $30 million penthouse where the leadership lived. Stream 6, Washington. Prosecutors alleged more than $100 million in political donations to both parties across 300-plus contributions, some routed through executives acting as straw donors to influence how crypto would be regulated. Careful with this one. That count never went to trial against Bankman-Fried, so against him it stays an allegation. 2 of his executives, though, pleaded guilty to campaign finance crimes. That part is fact. And then the music stopped. November 6th, 2022, the Binance tweet. That reporter's spreadsheet from 4 days earlier, this is it detonating. Within 72 hours, customers demanded roughly $6 billion back, and for the first time in 3 years, the balances on the screens got tested against reality. On November 8th, FTX froze withdrawals. On November 11th, it filed for bankruptcy, and that $8 billion hole became the most famous number in crypto. But this trail has something no other case in this series has: money that came back. That $500 million Anthropic bet? The AI boom happened while FTX was in bankruptcy. The estate sold the stake in 2024 for roughly $1.3 billion. And the Robinhood shares bought with insider loans? The DOJ seized them, and Robinhood bought them back for about $606 million. Stolen money, accidentally well invested, clawed back to repay the people it was taken from. Told you this dead end was strange, and you haven't even seen the whole of it yet. That's the machine on one screen. No exploit, no stolen keys. A shell company, one flag in the code, and a promise nobody checked. $8 billion of customer money spent by the people who swore they'd never touch it. The reckoning came fast. 1 month after bankruptcy, Bahamian police arrested Bankman-Fried at the request of the United States. He was extradited, and in October 2023, he stood trial in Manhattan. His 3 closest lieutenants, Caroline Ellison, Gary Wang, Nishad Singh, had already pleaded guilty. They testified against him, one after another, with the code, the spreadsheets, and the balance sheets up on the projector. Bankman-Fried took the stand in his own defense. He testified he never intended to defraud anyone, that this was mismanagement, not theft. That's his account, and you should hear it in full alongside everything I've just shown you. The jury went out and came back the same evening, guilty on all 7 counts: wire fraud on the customers, wire fraud on the lenders, and conspiracies stacked on top: securities fraud, commodities fraud, money laundering. In March 2024, Judge Lewis Kaplan sentenced him to 25 years in federal prison and ordered over $11 billion forfeited. The U.S. Attorney's words, not mine. He orchestrated one of the largest financial frauds in history, stealing over $8 billion of his customers' money. The insider's fates split on one thing: cooperation. Ellison, 2 years. She served about 14 months and was released this past January. Wang, time served, no prison. Singh, no prison at all. And Ryan Salome, the executive who didn't cooperate at trial, 7.5 years. And now, the dead end I promised you. The part of this story almost nobody predicted in 2022. The victims are getting paid. The bankruptcy estate clawed back everything it could reach. The Anthropic windfall, the Robinhood shares, property sales, lawsuits, and starting in early 2025, it began mailing money out. 4 distributions so far, roughly $10 billion returned as of March 2026, with a 5th scheduled for July 31st. Smaller customers, what the court calls the convenience class, have received about 119% of their claims in dollar terms. Every other trail on this channel dead ends in a mixer, a shell company, or the dark. This one dead ends in checks, 119%. So, no harm done? Ask the victims. Claims were valued on the day of the bankruptcy petition, November 11th, 2022. The bottom of the market. Bitcoin around $17,000. Customers who held coins waited 3 years and got $2022, while the coins themselves multiplied in value many times over. Made whole on paper, the upside kept by history. And this June, the appeals court settled the legal question with one sentence I'd frame on a wall. Whether the assets he bought went up is irrelevant to whether he committed fraud. Fraud happens the moment you take the money on a lie. Because yes, he appealed. On June 12, 2026, the Second Circuit unanimously affirmed the conviction and the 25-year sentence, calling the evidence, quote, conservatively stated, robust. Days earlier, his team had filed a petition for a presidential pardon. As of this recording, it's listed as pending, and the White House has publicly downplayed the odds. If that changes, you'll hear about it here. One loose end I'm deliberately saving. The night FTX filed for bankruptcy, more than $400 million drained out of its wallets in a separate hack, a SIM swap job that 3 people were later charged over. That heist gets its own episode. Here's what this case teaches that no hack can. Bybit, episode 1, lost over $1 billion in minutes to a lying screen. FTX lost more, over 3 years, to a database flag its own founder ordered into the code. The most dangerous backdoor in finance isn't malicious software. It's a promise. Your money is safe. Made by someone the world has decided is too smart and too generous to lie. The chain didn't fail. The auditors didn't exist. And $8 billion was gone before a single customer thought to ask where it actually lived. That's what this channel is. One real financial crime every episode. I follow the stolen money until it dead ends. Built from nothing but public records, every source linked below, so you never have to take my word for anything. If that's your kind of story, subscribe. Because next time, it's a man who made that same promise louder than anyone alive. He stood on stages week after week and told hundreds of thousands of people his platform was safer than a bank, while betting their savings behind their backs. The run he swore could never happen, happened. Celsius, 12 years. That trail is next.